Okay guys, hello and welcome to Armageddon. My name's Ian McNeil and I'm the development director here at Slytherin, and today I am going to be showing you the first Twitch live feed of Armageddon. So if you don't know about it, Armageddon is a turn-based, hex-based strategy game set in the Warhammer 40k universe, specifically about the Second War for Armageddon. This is where the Imperial forces are defending Armageddon, which is the Steel Legion are based there, and there's an Orc invasion and they have to hold out until reinforcements can arrive. I won't tell you too much about the story because there's some interesting twists and turns and you can discover that as you go, but we've got all the key characters from the lore, and you'll meet various people like Dante, Gazkul, Yarrick, and a range of other characters as you go through the game. What I'm going to do is just jump into a saved game I've got. This is a saved game about 1/3 of the way through the game, so this is at the end of a mission. What you can see here is the main view. Over here, some user interface about your unit lists, so the units you've got in reserve and things like that. Here's some user interface about the units you've got selected. It gives you combat stats, weapons, all kind of useful information like that. At the moment we're at the end of a mission. I've actually completed this, captured the victory location that I had to do. So this mission is complete, and I just wanted to show you how the campaign system works. So obviously you've got a zoom here, you can scroll around, see all the gorgeous sprites that we've got in the game. So I'm going to end my turn. The AI assaults me but fails, and I have won this. So what happens is the way the campaign works is that there's a story that takes you through the entire campaign, and you have a branching storyline where you can make decisions about which missions to take. And through this campaign you're taking a core force with you. This core force...
Commander, it is good to make contact.
We'll jump back to the story here. So here we have some of the story. There's 15 characters in the game, they're all voiced characters, and this tells you the story as you go. It's the lore of 40k is very deeply embedded in the game.
While everything changes about us, such as life and death, our faith should be the true constant.
So Officer Tressler is somebody who you'll deal a lot with. She's a communications officer who feeds you your objectives and is a main point of contact for you through the game.
Remind your comms adjunct the Voxnet is for military and operational use only, Commander. We're in the midst of Orc-held territory.
Jump through a few of these voiceovers. So here's just some choices of things to say during the conversation, and you also get to choose which missions you're going to undertake.
Impressive, Commander.
So here we have the famous Lord Dante.
I may have to reappraise that notion. The Orcs have invaded far into Hades, but it still remains in the Emperor's hands. This Yarrick must have the blood of ancient terror in his veins. We've already engaged the Xenos filth. Take your
So it gives you a bit of an idea of the voiceover. There's, as I said, 15 characters, and in total there's 90 minutes of voiceover in the game, so it's a massive amount, and it really helps build the storyline and make the story very immersive. Right, so my objective here, capture 8 victory hexes. What we see on the side here is my unit list. I'm at the deployment stage. This is a pre-battle kind of setup area. At this point, new units may be unlocked to me as I'm progressing through the game. So as you start, at the start of the game, you only have a small set of units to pick from. As you go through the campaign, more and more units will open up to you as you're going. And we'll just jump in to have a quick look at the unit list at the moment. So this here is the purchase screen, so I can recruit troops at any time if I've got enough points, which I have here, 5,000 points, so plenty of points to spend, but I have no unit slots. So I'm only allowed a maximum number of units, and as you go through the campaign that number increases, so your core force will get bigger and bigger. And this core force travels through you with the game. So the troops you start the campaign with will travel through the 30 scenarios, gaining experience, being upgraded, really personalised, and by the end of the campaign you get very attached to your troops. We have a fairly limited subset of units at the moment because we're only a third of the way through the game. These are the different types of infantry units we can get for the Steel Legion. because we've progressed through the story, the Blood Angels have already arrived on the planet, and the Ultramarines too. I'm just going to disband one of my units for a minute, just so we can see the unit list more clearly. Right, so back into the unit list, everything, because I had no unit slots, everything was greyed out because I couldn't purchase it, so that makes it a bit easier to see what's going on. So here I have the infantry units for the Steel Legion. This is the infantry units available to the Blood Angels. So there's a good variety of units there, and the different Space Marine chapters have different units available to them. Later on, there are going to be more units unlocking as well. You're going to get some Centurion units for the Ultramarines, but the Blood Angels don't get that. They get different units such as the Sanguinary Guard and other things. You've got the Death Company assault units, which are special to the Blood Angels as well. So then that was just the infantry classes. So what I'm going to do is show all unit types together. So we've got the 3 different factions that I have available to me to recruit from. Then I'm going to jump to the next unit category, Walkers. So now we're looking at Walkers. These are various dreadnoughts and scout units. There's vehicle list here, so we've got more tanks, scout vehicles. These are mostly light vehicles for scouting these units. Moving on to categories again, we're into the tank category. This ranges from the smaller Lehman Russ up to the giant Shadow Sword and Bane Blades and things like that. And also the special Space Marine tanks. There's artillery units. There's air units. And then we also have Titan units. They're always good fun. So what we'll do is we've just dismissed our Rough Riders, and we are going to instead add a Reaver Battle Titan into our mix. So like I said, we're at the deployment stage here. So this is where I get to make a plan about what my strategy is for the upcoming scenario. I'm going to jump into the strategic view. This is a fairly unusual map. It's very long and very thin. We can see here the yellow hexes are marked as victory hexes. These are the objectives that I have to capture. If I need a reminder, it's a very simple victory conditions. This one, I just have to capture the 8 victory hexes. I'm trying to get to the hive. Up here is the hive, which I'm trying to get to. Yarrick is under siege. The Orcs have besieged the hive, and Yarrick is stuck inside, and we have to get there and try and free him. So we're going to break through the Orc lines, and then we're going to have to penetrate deep into the hive walls itself. So we're fighting underground in later missions to actually rescue Yarrick. So looking at the terrain, we have a river, a settlement that is likely to be pretty heavily fortified here. Looks like some crossing points on the river that we might be able to outflank, and then up to some more settlements here, and then onto the hive. So I think what we'll worry about dealing with this first settlement at the beginning. We won't worry too much about what's up ahead. So let's jump back into the deploy view. So yeah, so we've got a river crossing here which we can get across. There's a crossing point here and a crossing point here. So what we'll do is let's put some heavy artillery to start pummeling the defenders in the town. What we've got here is a basilisk. This is good anti-infantry weapon. It's got decent range. Oops, I've undeployed the thing. On the sidebar we can see, where's my, actually let's undeploy him a sec. On the sidebar you can see some stats about the basilisk. He's got a special gun which has got very long range, up to 6 hexes, but it has a minimum range of 3. That means anything within 1 or 2 hexes of him, this gun can't fire at. So although he's got a very long, powerful long-range weapon, when you get close, the only weapon he's got is his bolter. So very vulnerable to short attacks, so he needs to be protected. Over here is a Death Strike missile. This has got an even longer range, so that's 4 to 7 range. So that, again, is something that has to be protected, but this one specialises in anti-tank. This is very good against heavily armoured targets. So that gives us a bit of variety back there. What we'll do is we'll put some of our heavier tanks up the front, because they're pretty slow. They're not going to be very good at outflanking. And we will also put, let's put a dreadnought up here, start the outflanking manoeuvre. I'm going to need some infantry to root out these defenders as well, so I'm going to put some Steel Legion infantry, and that's a command squad here. Command squad is it's kind of an upgraded version of the Steel Legion infantry, but it also raises the morale of surrounding units. So what happens is, one of the combat mechanics is that as units fight, their morale will drop, and you need to either rest and refit them or use command units to raise their morale. So I'm going to send some tanks around this side to outflank, and I think we'll send an outflanking force out well. Reaver Titan. Reaver Titan, he can go right in the middle. He'll start pounding whatever's in there. And we'll just fill in the rest of our slots here with some Space Marines to go around the sides. We have 2 Vulture gunships. These are very good. They're very fast. They can be a bit vulnerable to attack, but as long as you're careful with them, they get into good firing positions and can do a fair bit of damage. Landspeeder is more of a scout unit. It's only got a heavy bolter on board, so pretty weak, but it can cross rivers without penalties, so it's pretty useful for scouting as well. So that'll do for now for our deployments. So end the deployment phase. Let's get into the battle properly. So now we're actually in our first turn. What we can see here is we already see some Orc defenders. The shroud here is obscuring the rest, but I can see we have some slugger boys in here. Now these guys aren't too much of a threat. What I can see over on the sidebar is it's showing me that they're armed with a slugger and a chopper. So the slugger is a kind of a short range missile weapon, and the chopper is a hand-to-hand weapon. It's not a powerful weapon. There may be quite a lot of them. There's 35 in that unit, but they're not particularly strong, so nothing too much to be concerned about. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and scout this out a little bit. We'll bring up our land speeder, see if we can find anybody else. Right, okay. So our land speeder spotted some mega armoured knobs. You've got to love the names. These guys are much more serious. They have big shooters and power claws. And they also have 2 hit points each, so that this unit here, 35 1 hit point units. This over here may be a smaller unit, but each of these guys has 2 hit points, and they're more heavily armoured, so these are much tougher to deal with. So that's pretty nasty. And then we have a Kill Crusher, an upgraded Kill Crusher tank. So that's reasonable threat, but nothing we can't handle. I'm just going to try to see if we can do some scouting on the other side. Oh, he's not fast enough. Where? Tell you what, we'll just bring the Titan up. He doesn't care. Let's see what we can see. So the way the system works is I've moved my unit, but it shows me where I'm going to reveal, but until I unselect that unit, the move is not fixed. At this point I can still undo the move and take it back. So it's not until I deselect the unit that it will actually reveal the units that I've discovered. So that's an important point to note. You can undo your moves until you're happy with them. So what we've discovered here is some shooter boys with big shooters and some grot bomb launchers. So this is a kind of an artillery unit, guided missiles. They have a 2 to 5 range. They can be a bit nasty, but these, if you can get close to them, they're completely vulnerable because they can't hit anything that's adjacent to them. So if you attack from adjacent, they're easy meat. Now our Reaver Titan is very heavily armoured, so he can take on anything he likes really. The most awkward thing we've found so far is probably these shooter boys. They have a special ability. They are a supporting unit. What that means is, I'll just show you by attacking from here. If I attack with my Bane Sword here, these shooter boys are adjacent to the target, so they will give supporting fire. I'm going to attack. See, they gave supporting fire. So because of this, every time I attack someone adjacent to them, these guys are going to help out. So they're the most awkward unit for me to deal with right now. So I'm going to focus on taking them out. So our Titan's heavily armoured. He took no damage from that attack. He's got 18 health points. He's still there, and we've taken 12 of these guys out now. So I think what we'll do is bring up some artillery, and we will give them another pounding. There we go. Lovely, down to 4. And what you can see there is the number has changed to red. That means that the morale of this unit is now dropped. As the morale drops, the colour of the number changes from white to yellow here to orange to red. Red means their morale is very low. At that low morale level, their accuracy is significantly reduced. They're not very effective basically. So they're not really too much of a threat now, so we can kind of ignore them and bring someone else up to finish them. Now here we have, this unit is an unusual unit. The Baneblade, the equipment he has a Baneblade cannon, which is fairly standard. That's a very powerful 4-range unit, but it also has a Demolisher cannon. The Demolisher cannon is a special unit. If you can see in the unit stats here, it has 2-2. That means a minimum maximum range of 2. So it only fires when it's at range 2. So it's a little bit limiting, but it's pretty powerful when it does fire. So what we're going to try and do is move up a bit closer. So at a range of 2, our combat odds there, it's predicting we're going to take 1 damage point and inflict 3. If we try from a different range, we can see from long range, the only thing that's in range at this point is our Baneblade cannon. Everything else is out of range. So we'll do 1 damage each. And if we move to 3 hexes away, we're in range to use our Heavy Bolter and our Baneblade cannon. We're actually getting better odds to hit at that range. So what we'll do is we'll stay at this range and we will hammer him. Okay, that's done. He's done a bit of damage. Ooh, 6 damage to us. That wasn't a good result. Not a perfect result at all. Okay. What we'll do is we'll bring up, we should have done this first to be honest, our missile launcher. We'll just bring him up and we should have launched our anti-tank missiles against that before we attacked it. That would have weakened them and reduced their effectiveness against us. So yes, always use your artillery first. Don't follow my tactics. We're just going to start swinging our armoured force around the side here. An assault squad here. These guys, not much of a ranged weapon, but pretty good in hand-to-hand assaults. So good at rooting infantry out of dug-in positions. Here's an interesting other gameplay mechanic. So what we've got here, I've selected the unit and the areas I can move to are shown with dots. And these are places I can move to on foot. This unit is equipped with a transport. If we just jump him on board, he's got a Chimera transport. So the tiles marked here with the vehicles show that these are the tiles he can get to if he mounts up. Now mounting up, against some units mounting up, the vehicle may protect you, against others it may make you more vulnerable. And when you're mounted up you fire with the weapons on board the vehicle, your transport vehicle, rather than your weapon itself. So the Chimera that we have here has got a multi-laser and a heavy bolter compared to a heavy bolter, and you also notice the number of strength points changes. So I've got 10 heavy bolters here, or if I mount up it's 5 multi-lasers and 5 heavy bolters. So sometimes it can be useful to be loaded up, sometimes not. I'm going to load up because I can't get into range unless I do. So I'm going to mount up and then try and finish these guys off with my multi-laser and heavy bolter. Did a bit more damage, didn't kill them, but that every bit helps. Here we've got our command squad. I'm going to bring them up and hopefully that will finish these guys off. We've got las guns and power swords. Ah, no, they're being a bit resilient. We have another artillery unit here, but I don't want to waste it on this almost killed unit here. What we want to do is start weakening these armoured mega knobs because they are tough cookies. Although I'm not going to bring my artillery that close because he may be able to hit me. Yes, what we'll do is hit them from here. Only 2 damage, not particularly good, but we have reduced their morale a bit, so that will reduce their effectiveness. These guys have got a range 3, so I can't engage them without getting hit back. So that's not great odds. I take 3 damage points to kill more, but I can't really afford to take that kind of losses against the orcs. The orcs are very numerous. They're going to massively outnumber you. So when you're inflicting equal numbers of damage points to what you receive, it's generally not a good exchange. So here we have a Devastator squad. They've got heavy bolters and they're mounted on a Rhino. So that's equipped with a Storm Bolter. So what we're going to do is see how that matches up here. That's not looking too bad, so we're going to stay mounted up and use our Storm Bolters here to lay some fire down there. Right, next up we have a tactical squad. These guys haven't got any transport, so they're just going to have to move on foot. That's a standard Space Marine tactical unit. Here, air support, I think we'll bring them up and start. Yeah, we can't hit them, so yeah, we'll do that. Just start taking out these slugger boys. More Steel Legion. I'm not going to get too close to there. They might get picked on the transports. Right, so that leaves us with our Dreadnought, which will go up there. Oh, we found some more. Right, we've found a Grot Mega Tank. Not too much to worry about. Grot tanks aren't particularly strong. And we've got 6 hit points per Dreadnought, and he's only got 3. And we're going to, so we should kill one and take 1/6 of a unit damage. So we'll give that a go. We killed one, and yes, he did 1 damage. So completely as predicted. Here we have our land speeder. See, this is pretty weak. If I attack here, I'm going to get massacred by these guys. I've probably moved him a bit too close, to be honest. The retaliation fire in the enemy turn could really hurt. So I'm just going to lay down some fire here, which is pretty safe against these guys, because I'm out of their range. Right, that's pretty much it for turn 1. I've just got these guys who... right, so because we've now seen this Grot tank, what we'll do is we'll lay down some fire up there instead. What you'll notice is that because units are armed with multiple weapons, when in range, each of the weapons fires individually. So in this case, I've got 3 weapons on board that all have the same range. But for other units, you might either get 1, 2, or all 3 of the weapons firing. And finding the right range to engage the enemy at is one of the important tactics that you're going to have to learn. Right, so we're done for turn 1. Into the AI turn, and the AI's, yep. He's coming for me a little bit. You can control the speed of the AI turn. I've got it turned up relatively fast at the moment, so we can keep the... Oh no, my command squad. Don't die. My command squad died. I went too far forwards with them. And yeah, that just wasn't good. And my land speed has been pretty heavily mauled. He's down to 2 out of 7 strength. So... not a brilliant first move. As I said, we can't afford to exchange 1 for 1 with the Orcs. There's far more of them, so we've got to make sure that every attack counts. Right, so they've come out of their defences a bit, so that's the only good news. They've come across the bridge to try and take on these units and kill them. So they did lose the command. We did lose the command squad, but we've now got these 2 units which we should be able to take out because they're a bit more exposed now. Infantry and cover get significant advantages. If I hover over a tile on the sidebar over here, it will tell you the terrain bonuses. So a town, 30% cover, that means 30% of all damage you inflict will get absorbed by the terrain rather than inflict on the infantry. This one here, that's an Orc camp, even more cover, 40%, so they're pretty dug in here. That really makes them harder to kill. But now these guys are over on the bridge, there's no cover there, and we'll be able to kill them much more easily. Right, so let's see what we can see around here. See if we discover anything interesting. Nothing revealed there. We'll fly this guy over here. Right. So these guys are quite heavily armoured. 2 Hellstrike missile packs. But they've only got 2 hit points, so they are a bit vulnerable. I don't want to attack something like that. 7 damage would take out at least 3 of my aircraft. Can't afford to lose that. What we'll do is we'll just take a free attack there. These guys can't hit me because they're out of range. So, I forgot about the supporting fire. Luckily it didn't do anything. We will bring our Predator Annihilator around. Oh, we've just bumped into someone. Now, here I moved into the shroud and I took a bit of a risk. Because I've discovered, when you move adjacent to an enemy unit that's in the shroud, you discover it instantly. But that then means I cannot undo the move. And if I'd actually walked into an enemy unit, it would have been an ambush, and that could have been quite nasty. Luckily, I didn't move on top of them, but I was a bit rash there. I should have done a bit more scouting. What I'll do is I'll bring up my Land Raider Helios. He's got a fair bit of firepower on him, so I'm going to bring him up here, weaken the Grot tank, and then try and finish him off with the Predator. So that was good. Knocked a fair bit off them there, and now, yeah, that's massively improved our odds here. So let's see if our Predator can then finish him off. Perfect. That didn't go too badly. Just keep these coming up on the outflanking. Right, now what have we got in the middle here? We've got the Grot tank there, sorry, the Grot missile launcher. We know there's more in units in here because they fired some missiles at us. What we'll do is we'll try and take this Grot tank out over here, and that might let us get round the back and see what's really going on inside that town. Right, we've pretty much finished him off, and we've found another Grot tank and a Squiggers with a kill cannon. And oh god, he's got all sorts. 2 big shooters, 2 big lobbers and a kill cannon. That's quite nasty. We would like to take him out before he starts doing damage to us. So what we're going to do is try and finish him off to open up a path for our dreadnought to get round there and see if we can engage him. Okay, that's that finished. Now our Lehman Russ is going to see where he can get to. Not great. Not great odds. What about our dreadnought? He can't get close enough. Well, we'll take him up as close as he can get. He's got an assault cannon and a power fist, so this guy is very meaty in close combat and assaults. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and take on this Grot tank here. So the way combat works for assaults is you do the ranged combat and then the assault combat happens afterwards. So both units get to shoot and then you fight an assault as well. So assaults tend to be more bloody. Both sides take more casualties. Now, if we bring this up now, we should be able to finish him off without too much pain. Yeah. Okay, that's that finished off. Now our Land Raider, I'm just going to pull back to a safe range over here, and I think we're going to have to repair him next turn. Let's zoom back a bit. Right, now onto the main event. I think we're going to use our missile, our Death Strike missile to... Oh, we're too close. He's in range to hit us with his Crusher Cannon. We're going to have to retreat out of his range before we engage him, otherwise we're going to take some damage. That's far enough. He's only got 4 range. That puts us out of his range, but our missile can still hit. So let's try that. Okay, so we took another one out. We did 6 damage points. That's not too bad. So we should be able to finish him off without too much difficulty with our gunship. Lovely. Right, he's gone. Next up, these guys. Well, it's these mega knobs. What can we do about them? Well, our Bane Sword can do a fair bit of damage to them, but the Quake Cannon won't fire at that range. If he pulls back, is he going to be any more effective? Oh yes, much more. Right, because our Quake Cannon has a minimum range of 3 hexes, we had to pull our Bane Sword back to actually get the best out of him. Right, let's unleash that. So he did nothing to us with his bolters, and we've done 10 damage, so that's pretty good. I think we'll do one more artillery hit on these guys with our Basilisk. That's great. He's down into red, so he's had it really. So I think we'll finish him off with Steel Legion now. Oh, he's still, even in that state, they can still take down some Steel Legion. That's it. Finally took them out. Now we have our Baneblade. I think we want to start hammering those guys. They're the problem. These Slugger Boys are not really much of a threat, so let's add some artillery to that. Okay, and let's bring our Titan up round here, see if you can see anything interesting. Right, he's discovered another rocket launcher. Slugger Boys are not really a concern, and a kill cannon. No, it's not too much of a concern. He can't hurt the Titan too much. So we will just spray everything at these guys. Okay, that's done a fair bit of damage. And we still have our Devastator squad. Let's just see if we're better off getting in close up. No, we're not better off. Better off engaging from range. Okay. So I think we've fired with everyone, it's just whether we want to reposition any of these units. Don't think there's any point in getting any closer at the moment. Bring him around the side. That'll do. Let's end the turn. We've got quite a few turns in this mission, but we can't afford to get bogged down in this town fight too long. Oh no. Not another unit gone. I suppose this is 40k. You have to pile the bodies up. Okay, what can we get here? Okay, that's good. We'll take this guy down. There's a lot of firepower on that Helios, for Land Raider Helios. Okay, right, we're going to repair. So this is one of the other things in the game. So I've got a damaged unit here, so my options here are to rest and refit him. And resting will boost his morale, so it will slowly recover his morale each turn if I rest him. But also resting recovers hit points. So if I rest, I'll recover a hit point, so I'll go up to 2 out of 3 instead of 1 out of 3. However, resting cannot recover destroyed vehicles or killed units. To actually replenish the units, I need to use the replacements. So because I took so much damage, resting isn't really going to help me very much. What we're going to do is we're going to use the replacements button, and this uses up some of my sorry, this one here, requisition points. So if I use replacements, you'll see the number. I'm up to 7 strength points now, back up to full strength, and it used up some requisition points to do that. But it uses up the unit's turn, so that's him done for now. These units are advancing across the river. They're trying to get. Oh, they finished off my infantry. So again, the only silver lining here is that they've exposed themselves to kill off my my infantry unit. Right, let's use the Steel Legion here to finish these guys off. Great. Right. So now this victory hex is now open. Now my objective is to capture these 8 victory hexes, so it's not enough just to leave it unoccupied. I've actually got to move in there and take it. That now belongs to me. The icon changes to show Imperial ownership, and that's one of my 8 victory locations captured. Right, next up, I think we're going to bring our Titan up here and try and hammer this Squiggoth, because he could be a pain. Oh, just found someone. Okay, so we did a bit of damage to the Squiggoth. Not quite finished him off, but he's definitely weakened. Let's bring the artillery down on these guys one more time to finish that off. Can't shoot at them because they're going to hurt me back. We will. Let's bring these up to here. Not sure these heavy tanks are designed for town fighting, but that's not very good. No, these guys are tough. Right, let's bring up some heavy weapons. No, I think we're going to use the missile launcher. Just weaken them a bit more. Then gunships. Ooh, lost two gunships there, that wasn't ideal. Let's finish them off. Nearly. Right, that's a bit of overkill, but that's that done. Use the artillery here. Let's continue the advance. Right, what we're going to do, our dreadnought's now going to get in there hand to hand and finish this thing off. So killed it. We took a little bit of damage. Got 3 health left there on the dreadnought, but that's fine. Right, let's hit them with some heavy bolters. And there, it's getting a bit crowded around getting across this bridge. Ah, forgot about these guys. Right, so our Lehman Russ, I think. That's not good. 3-7, don't like that. 2-8, no, too dangerous. What we will do is we'll just rest him, because none of those odds are brilliant. And hopefully get his morale from the yellow colour back into white. Just about, so he's rested a little bit. Right, so all my units have moved, so the button up here is changed to end turn automatically. If you want to, you can just cycle through your units as well. So that moves to the next unmoved unit, but I've got no units unmoved. So, on to turn 3. These orcs just won't die in this town. Let's see if we can finish them off. Let's get them in the river. Right, good. Right, we'll use the Steel Legion infantry to go and capture that other victory location. So that's the southern part of the town cleared. Just kill a few of these scrap units that are left over. Right, now we've got some shooter boy support units. It's these guys here. They're the one that's being a pain. We need to take them out. So our unit was had to choose a route that went around up into these tiles here, because you can't move through the ZOCs of other units. ZOCs are zones of control, so once you move into an enemy unit, it stops you kind of moving straight through an enemy line. And because it was deviating around these zone of control here to get to the destination, its path has taken it into another enemy unit which we hadn't yet discovered. Luckily it's just a cannon unit which should be easy meat, so we'll just try and take that out. Okay, so we've nearly killed it and didn't take any damage, so that's a good swap. We will just hammer these guys. The Land Raiders, a lot of firepower, so that's always good. Then we want to rain down fire on this guy, but we're a bit too close for our apocalypse launchers. We need to move back a bit, and that'll increase our odds. Okay. Once we take these out, the rest of the town should be easy going. One of the things you notice is that the large vehicles, tanks, and the big walkers can't enter the cities at all. They can move down roads through cities, but they can't move into the buildings. They're just there's too much rubble and too difficult to maneuver, so they have to go around them. So infantry becomes key for trying to route infantry out of these difficult objectives, and also for capturing the objectives. Often the tanks can't even move into the victory hexes, so you need the infantry to actually complete the missions. Although, as you've seen, they are pretty expendable. I've already lost 2 of them in the mission so far. Bit of a traffic jam here trying to get across this bridge. Mopping up the remainers. Right, that's it. The town is captured. Just need to occupy those victory locations and then we're done. Right, that's everybody moved. On to turn 5, so let's have a quick look at a strategic map. So, we've cleared that first town. There's a little cannon here, but nothing too much to worry about. The yellow units here are my Imperial Legion. The red units are my Blood Angels. What we might do actually is recruit some replacements for the casualties we've taken. Apparently I'm drifting out of camera, so am I back in? Yeah, I'm back in camera, because obviously you want to look at me. So what we might do is, just for a bit of variety, we might go and recruit some Ultramarines. We lost infantry, but I think we've got enough infantry at the moment. So what we will do is, we lost a command squad. Tell you what, because it looks cool, I'm going to take a Ultramarine command squad. Hopefully it'll be a bit more resilient than my my Imperial Guard command squad as well. So yeah, we're on the purchase screen here. You can see I've now got 2 unit slots because I took 2 casualties. So these unit slots are open and I can now recruit some new units. Here are the stats for the unit over here. You get tooltips over the different abilities, so that's the number of men in the squad, that's how many hit points each man has, how far they can move per turn, what kind of movement type they are, so you have different movement rates for infantry on foot versus flyers or tanks or walkers. Then some combat stats, spotting 4, that's very good, so he's a good scouting unit. Not bad defense, initiative, and then his kind of combat stats, and then these are the weapons he's equipped with. So it's got a bolter and a power sword, so nothing special, but should be a fair bit more resilient than my Imperial Guard command squad. And because I may want him to move around, I'm going to upgrade him with a Rhino, so that means he'll be a bit more mobile. So we'll purchase that, and he can appear on any of the deployment slots that I had at the start of the mission. So we'll start him up here. And with our other slot we shall have, what shall we have? I quite like the Land Raider Helios. The firepower on those is pretty impressive. Although the 12 Hurricane pattern bolters is pretty impressive as well. But I think I'll go with the Whirlwind Launcher. We'll take one of those. So there we go, we've got a few Ultramarines in our force now. As you progress through the story, the Salamanders also become available to you. Right, so we didn't really make a plan, did we? We've taken the town, we've got 2 more victory locations here. I think we're going to split the force, send half against each here, because we haven't really got time to take them one by one. I'll keep the artillery fairly central, because their range should be able to contribute wherever they're needed. But split the rest of the force 50-50. So what we'll do is we'll send the Space Marines one way and the Imperial Guard the other, and keep the artillery in the middle, and the Titan will probably sit in the middle and see which way he needs to go. Right, so we've got to finish off this little guy here. Just bring up the Blame Blade, that should clear the way. Right, the path is now open. Let's get our land speeder out there and do a bit of scouting. So I think the Space Marines are going to take the right flank. Yeah, we'll send the Blood Angels and the Ultramarines up on the right flank. What do we got? Some... oh, these guys are a pain. And they're in a ruined factory, so they're going to be quite dug in and tough to take out. So we want the artillery support as soon as possible to get started on weakening them. We should do a bit of recon on this side first though. We're going to send the Imperial Guard this way. Nothing there so far. They've got a range of 3, so they're going to be able to hit us. No, we don't want to engage that. Right. Just stay out of their range for now. I think we're just going to... Oh, that's good. The Whirlwind launcher is a missile launcher which has got an indirect fire ability. So terrain is very important. You can see on the sidebar in the terrain information, it gives you cover, which we've already talked about, but line of sight is another very important concept. So how that works is whether you can see to a target or not depends on the line of sight for the tile. So this tile here is a town. It's 100% line of sight blocking, which means you cannot see through it at all. So direct fire weapons cannot shoot through something like a town. There are other types of terrain like forest, which we can see here has line of sight blocking 20%. What that means is direct fire weapons can shoot through it, but for each tile of this terrain they shoot through, you will lose that percentage, so 20% here. So firing through this forest, you would lose 20% of the accuracy or your unit shooting through there. So it's a significant reduction. So in this situation, it's also positioning my unit here more by luck than judgment. The mega knobs cannot shoot me, but I can hit them because I have an indirect fire weapon, my Whirlwind launcher. So we will engage them with that, which did absolutely nothing. That's a shame. Right, let's bring up the Titan because he's got some long-range artillery as well. He should be able to hit them with a laser blaster and his Apocalypse launcher from here. There we go. That's better. Done a bit of damage to them. Bring our Punisher over here. Just mount up. Oh, let's move these first. So this is showing the line of sight again. I've moved right next to this building. I'm actually closer than I was with the Land Raider, but and I'm in range. But because of the building, I'm blocking line of sight, and I cannot shoot at them, and they cannot shoot at me. But that's fine. We'll sit there and take cover behind that building. Let's bring up our heavy missile launcher, and he can hit. That's good. So he's hit up there. He's also captured the victory location there by doing that, which helps. I'm going to need to send these guys here to capture that location. Oh, I missed it. Oh, the victory location was there. In that case, we will send the Space Marines there. And what you can see is that the insignia of the side that actually captured it gets put on there, so you get a Blood Angels marker because the Blood Angels captured it. Right. Oh, artillery is blocked. I brought them the wrong way. I brought them across a crossing, but only into a town. They can't enter that tile, and the only way they can enter this tile is via the road. So back the way they came. Bad planning. Our air support we'll bring up. I think we'll send one each way. And we have more artillery here. Bring them a bit more central. That brings them in range. That's good. Hit that. Okay, that's everybody moved, so end turn. Oh dear, our Land Raider's been hammered. We possibly send him a bit too farther forward. What we have here are looted Lehman Russ, so the Orcs have taken over the hive and obviously captured some Imperial tanks and modified them to their own uses, and they've completely annihilated my land speeder, so that's 3 units down. Well, that's about as much as I'm going to show of this mission, so I will save this progress and we can always continue that later if there is an interest in seeing more of that. What I want to do now is just jump into a couple of other things. So I'm going to pop back to the main menu, and just jump into a single scenario. This is one of the later scenarios, so this is just jumping into somewhere much further down the campaign. I'm playing in single scenario mode now rather than as part of the campaign, and this was just to show you a bit more of the unit list. So this is further in, so now you have salamanders available as well. It says salamander squad, and the salamander specific units. You've got salamander fire drakes, thunderfire cannons, and the blood angels. Later on you get some really cool blood angel units. You've got your sanguinary guard, you've got terminators and all sorts of things, all sorts of cool units. And what I'm going to do is just turn the filters off, so now we're seeing units for all sides and for all types, just to give you an idea of the scale of this list. So that's the Imperial Guard we've finished. Now we're into Blood Angels. Now we're into the Salamanders. And finally into the Ultramarines. So it just gives you an idea of the scale of the number of units, and there are also a number of special mission specific units that you don't even get to see here. So there are special units for characters like Yarick, Lord Dante, Tushan, I can't remember, there's probably a bunch of other mission specific units that you have to deal with as well, but they're all kind of cool, super powerful units that come up in missions. We've also got the Titans, which we had a little look at. And I think that covers most of what we wanted to show for today. Just gives a first idea about the game. If there are anything that people want to look at, we can certainly look at doing more demos later to show off different aspects of the game that anyone's interested in. Obviously I haven't covered multiplayer at all here at the moment. The single player game is played from the Imperial side, so the story is all handcrafted and designed to be, it's told from the Imperial side. In multiplayer you can of course play as the Orcs, so we've got 10 multiplayer scenarios at the moment. There's even some Civil War scenarios, so you can play Orc versus Orc, or Imperial versus Orc. There's various different options and different factions, so you might be just Blood Angels or you might be Imperial. Everything's set up on a mission by mission basis, and that just about covers everything, but we'll just do one more attack because I love the fire animations and the impacts. But that's it guys, thanks very much for watching, and hope to see you next time.